Okay, so here's some behaviors that you'll see of cetaceans. There's several different behaviors. They'll do different things, but one of the behaviors is spy hopping. Okay, and spy hopping is when they will swim up towards the surface and they'll just stick their head out of the water. Okay, and they do that to kind of like take a look around at what's going on around them. So they'll do that a lot of times if they're curious about a boat. So if you're in the boat next to them, they'll spy hop to check out the boat. We also think that they do this in order to like navigate. So they'll pop up out of the water and like look at the coastline, and like look at the coastline and figure out like where they are, and that helps them to navigate on their migrations when they migrate up to the poles and stuff like that. All right. So they do have good vision in air and in water, so they are able to spy hop. And the only fish that does this is the great white shark. All right. Spy hops. Another behavior that you will see is breaching. So the cetaceans will start down deeper in the water and they will swim quickly towards the surface. And they will swim so fast that they actually break through the surface of the water, their entire body. While they're in the air, they turn either onto their side or their back, and then they will slap on the surface of the water. And it's called breaching. Okay, so it's basically like whale cannonballs. All right, so that's what they're doing. They do it for a variety of reasons. For dominance, so to display dominance, so whichever male can make the biggest splash, biggest cannonball, then they're the most dominant male. Okay. They also do it, we think, maybe to emphasize their arrival or leaving from certain areas. So whales will gather in certain areas, and so when they come there, they'll like breach to be like, "Hey guys, I'm here," or like, "See you later, guys, I'm going somewhere else," sort of deal. Maybe for fun, okay, and maybe to loosen parasites, all right, off their body. And there's lots of different species that do it. Okay, you can see an orca here and then a humpback whale on the right. Humpback whales, those are probably the ones that you'll see breaching all the time. They're kind of like the iconic whale picture of a breaching whale. So you'll see those all the time. Okay, tail lobbing is another behavior that you'll see. And tail lobbing is when the whale will actually stick their tail out of the water and then they slap their tail on the surface of the water. It's not like when a whale dives deeply, they'll actually like, when you dive deeply down in the water, you kind of like bend your body and then your feet sometimes come out of the water as you like kick to go down, right? Whales do that too when they dive. And so when they dive, they'll have their like fluke displayed above the water and then they just sink down. Tail lobbing is different from that. Tail lobbing is when they'll actually keep their tail above the water and then they slap it on the surface of the water. Okay? And the reason why they do that is because they're showing you that they're like aggressive or angry or unhappy. Okay? So like if you're too close to like a mom and a calf and the mom's not happy with that, she'll like tail lob, which is your signal to be like to get out of the way. Okay? Like back off. I'm trying to take care of my baby, so leave. Okay? So that's what tail lobbing is. Communication. So communication is D in your notes. Okay. Communication. They will make noises to communicate with each other, and so they have like basically different sacs inside of their respiratory system. Okay. That are connected by tubes, and they can move air throughout those and make different sounds. So kind of like if you were to take and blow up a balloon and then you hold like the top of the balloon, right, and then it makes the funny like noise as the air comes out. They do similar things to that. Okay. They will make noises for several different things. So to identify each other, they also use it to mate. So for example, like male humpback whales will sing songs for females. And like they literally have like verses and choruses and stuff like that where they'll repeat sounds and patterns of sounds. And basically the louder and the longer the song, the more dominant the male. Okay? They also use it for hunting, so they'll make noises to communicate, okay, as they hunt, to coordinate what they're doing. Okay? And then they also will do it to play, so as they play. And Whalers actually back in the day used to take advantage of this. They'd find a mom and her calf, and they'd injure the calf, and then the calf would like make its like "mommy, come help me" noise, and then the mom would come, and then they'd kill the mom and the baby. And yeah, it's horrible. Okay. And then last behavior that you'll see, they have different kinds of hunting behaviors. So they'll hunt together in groups a lot of times, and their groups are called pods. So they'll hunt together in pods, and you get like dolphins that'll swim around like schools of fish, and they'll like take turns as the dolphins swim around. Different dolphins will swim through the school of fish and like capture the fish, while the other dolphins kind of corral the fish and keep them in a certain spot, and bring them up closer to the surface where it's easier for them to get the fish. So they'll hunt together in pods. They also actually have the ability to teach their offspring how like different hunting techniques, and there's actually unique hunting techniques to different pods of orcas. So you get like certain kinds of orcas that are known for like swimming up really close to a beach to get like seals, baby seals, and then you have other orcas that are known, and I'll actually show you a short video clip of like swimming towards like seals on ice floes and like creating waves to knock seals off. So they have different kinds of hunting techniques, and they teach their babies how to do those hunting techniques, so it gets passed on from generation to generation. Whales also make migrations. So they will migrate from the poles to the tropics and back again. So they actually go during the summer to the poles to feed. Why would the poles be a good place to feed in the summer, Matt?
Plankton.
Plankton blooms. Good. Very good. So why do you get plankton blooms in the poles during the summer? Absence of a thermocline. So what's available? Sunlight and nutrients. So you get sunlight and nutrients. Oh my gosh, first semester. Here we go again. Okay, sunlight and nutrients available, which means plankton bloom, which means lots of food for whales. Okay, so they migrate to the poles during the summer to feed, and they will literally feed for like 2 or 3 months pretty much straight. Okay, sometimes they feed for 24 hours at a time. A blue whale can consume 2 to 3 tons of krill in one day. Okay, so they are eating a lot when they're in the poles. That's good because they actually need to eat that much because they don't eat when they're in the tropics. There's no food for them in the tropics. So they will eat and maybe stop a few places along the way to the poles as they migrate, but they don't eat for about 6 months a year. Okay, and so as they eat in the poles, they store up a lot of blubber, a lot of energy storage that will get them through the rest of the year. All right, so they eat in the summer in the poles, and then they'll go to the tropics during the winter because it's too cold in the poles to stay there all year round. And they'll go to the tropics in the winter to give birth if the female's pregnant or to mate. Okay, the tropics is a good place for them to give birth because the water's warmer, easier for the baby to maintain its body temperature. There's fewer predators in the tropics, so it's a good place for them. All right, so we go to the poles during the winter or summer to feed, and then during the winter they go to the tropics. So here is Australia. You have the northern part of Australia is actually in the tropics. So you have humpback whales that live in the northern part of Australia during the winter, and then they migrate down to the southern ocean around Antarctica during the summer. And then we have gray whales that spend time around Baja California during the winter, and then they migrate up the coast all the way up to the Bering Sea, which is in between Alaska and Russia. All right, so they make long migrations. So, reproduction and development. So, many animals, many cetaceans travel in pods, and those pods are made out of typically adults, and then the offspring, the young babies. And then the females will only bear one young at a time. Okay, so one offspring at a time. And that offspring, they may bear one offspring every other year. Okay, some whales it could be every 2 to 3 years. Okay, because they actually take care of their babies for a long period of time. So every other year, every couple years, they will produce an offspring. When that baby's born, they nurse off of very rich milk. That milk is like super, super, super high in fat. Okay, so 40 to 50% fat. And that's good because they need that in order to build up their stores of blubber so that they can remain warm. Okay, and then it's also 10 to 12% protein to help them to grow. For example, a baby blue whale can gain 200 pounds a day for the first year of its life. So imagine like gaining a large human worth of weight every day for the first year of your life. That's what they're gaining every day from this super, super rich milk. Okay?